Hey guys, so I have rearranged this. If you guys watched the video, I literally am like it's uploading as we speak. Um, if you watch that video, you'll know that I rearranged the living room a little bit. Uh, that chair is where this whole setup used to be. I like this a little bit better. Maybe the lighting kind of sucks, but that's my balcony behind me. Yeah, the lighting does kind of suck. But anyways, that's not even the point. My whole point is the whole point of this video. I am restarting my Bpd And Me series. I I started it a couple of years ago when I was really, really mentally ill. Probably shouldn't have started it then, but I am starting it now. I'm going to talk in this series about how I've dealt with being off meds for 2.5 years. Um, and just like the little things like, well, they're not little with BPD, but you know, what can people do to support us? What are good books? What are good, um, good support, good therapy, stuff like that. Um, that's going to be coming in the series. That's what I'm planning on doing. I am going to start this off by saying everything is coming from me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional, even in the slightest. I work as a cargo handler. That's what I do. But I have had over 10 years' experience of living with this illness. And so this is all coming from my experience. So, start off as well. Oh my gosh. I initially got diagnosed with BPD 13, oh yeah, like 11, 12, 13 years ago. Um, yeah. I ended up in the hospital in Sudbury because of a suicide attempt. If you guys are already in this far, you guys already know there's a disclaimer, but yes, I tried to hang myself after a horrible breakup. By horrible, I mean, like thinking back, it wasn't that horrible. The guy that I was dating basically ignored me for 3 days. We were living together and then told me he didn't want to be with me anymore. And I went out, got high, and tried to kill myself. Ended up in the hospital. Ended up seeing a psychiatrist who diagnosed me. And it took like 2 weeks for me to actually look at him and say, okay, can you tell me what my diagnosis is? I know you're giving me pills, but I don't know. Like, what am I being diagnosed with? And he said to me, when we're done here, go on the computer, look up borderline personality disorder. And he said, you're going to see, like, you'll know that I'm right about this diagnosis. So I did immediately after I met with him. And he was spot on. At the time, I had pretty much every single trait of someone with BPD. And it was kind of scary reading that paper and going, oh my gosh, this is what my life is going to be. I'm going to be on meds for the rest of my life. And it was scary. I was on probably 6 or 7 different types of medications at that time. I was on like 2 antidepressants, a sleeping pill, an antipsychotic, and a mood stabilizer. I was on a lot. But it was in the beginning. They were trying to figure out, trying to get my meds properly, like trying to get them adjusted. trying to figure out what was going to work with me. Not all meds work for everyone, so I got out of the hospital, went and lived with one of the girls, oddly enough, that I was in the hospital with. Why? I don't know. This isn't tea, this is my coffee. Month and a half rolled around. My birthday came around, and it was a horrible, horrible time for me. My birthday and May 4th have always been a really rough couple of days since my grandmother died when I was 12, so it's impacted me for 23 years. And at that point, the only thing I remember was waking up in the morning, grabbing the bottle of Tylenol. I knew I'd bought I bought a bigger bottle than what I have currently. And I remember that it had 100 in it. And I remember taking the first couple, but after that it was like, I ultimately ended up finding out that I disassociated. Basically, my mind just went, nope. And I do not remember taking the 90, but I knew that A, it was a full bottle when I opened it that morning. B, it had 10 left in it when I finished. I remember very clearly, I still remember that girl's apartment, so I remember stumbling out of the room, looking at her saying, I think I just made a mistake, and her saying, do you think you should go to the hospital? And me saying, yes, or I'm gonna die. And her calling the ambulance and her asking me what I did, and me not wanting to tell her, and then me finally telling her. And I remember the paramedic coming up, and I don't remember going down the stairs, but apparently I had to have. And I remember getting to emerge, and me just laying there going, do what you guys have to. Just help. And when they asked me how many I had taken, and I told them, at first it was like, nope, not gonna tell them, they're gonna have to figure it out. But then the girl I was living with basically told them, yeah, she took Tylenol, like extra strength Tylenol. And if you guys didn't know, that much Tylenol will kill your liver. It essentially is poisoning you. So ended up getting it out of me that I took 90 of them. I remember having the tube in my nose with the charcoal because I had to pump my stomach. I remember kind of coming to, I was like off and on, I was out of it. I came to at one point, and I remember them telling me to stop reaching for the tube, but it was just like I couldn't control it. I was just trying to grab it, trying to get it out of my nose. Oh no, that wasn't even the next one. That was the one where I met my ex. I did have it wasn't a suicidal tendency or anything. It was just one of those where I felt like I was gonna hurt myself, so I ended up in the hospital anyways. And it just got released, and it just told my doctor that I thought I was gonna end up hurting myself. Anyways, I was in that psych for 2 weeks. Oh, no, it was 10 days because, and I quote, we only keep people in here with borderline personality disorder for a week. Because apparently attention seeking, blah, 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 blah. I ended up meeting my ex in that hospital, who ultimately led me down the road that I've been clean off of for a while. So That chain of events kind of sucked. But I again had a med change. I had so many med changes in the 6 years I think that I was on antidepressants or on medications. It was probably longer than 6. At one point, I had been on Celexa, Seroquel, Trazodone, Wellbutrin, Citalopram. Oh, what else? The ones they really normally stuck me on was Trazodone, Seroquel, and they've had me on Wellbutrin a couple of times. But they will not prescribe that to me because I ended up getting addicted to it. So, having an addictive personality, when I met my ex and I realized kind of late that he was an addict, I started using with him, got hooked on it pretty quick. And then, that whole thing happened. I ended up moving down to St. Catharines, ended up in psych. Was I in psych in St. Kitts? No. I was at a shelter in St. Catharines, but I was not in psych. Ended up leaving there, went back east, was home for not quite a year. And then ended up in the hospital there because of suicide, either thoughts or attempts. Maybe I did try there. I don't remember. But I got so overwhelmed that I couldn't handle it. So, and that was right after my cousin's death. So, make a long story short, those first 3 admissions basically paved the way for the past 10 years or so, because I went through, the majority of my suicidal thoughts or tendencies or my suicide attempts have been there. Since I've lived in Hamilton, I've lived here for 5.5 years. I have had 2, possibly 3, either attempts or to the point where I actually felt, yes, 3, where I felt like I was actually going to do something. I have stayed at a respite care place for a couple of days on numerous occasions since I've been in Hamilton. I have gone to several different types of therapy here, including the one that I have. I think I'll actually talk about that in another video about DBT therapy, because I should grab my book because I do actually have it. That therapy helped me a lot. The thing with BPD is it's like the comics or the TV shows that'll show like an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. It's like having those constantly, but always not having an angel, always having 2 devils talking bad stuff into your ears and saying stuff like, the most common thing that my brain will just pop up with is, you're worthless. No one's going to ever love you. You deserve to be treated horribly. Stuff like that I know isn't true. But when those thoughts are coming into my head, it's very hard for me to ignore them. When I'm lucky right now. I feel very fortunate that I have such an amazing support system. That I have an incredible best friend who, to be honest, I've never in my entire life had someone like this person in my life. So I'm glad that I have that person. I also have my best friend that's known me for 10 years. I also do have my mom back home. I have my work. Work is really good. A couple of my coworkers are really supportive. I'm friends with a bunch of the guys who just finished temping. So I do have a really good support system around me right now. And doing stuff like keeping my apartment clean or rearranging it has been helpful too. I'm gonna end this video and I may possibly do another segment tonight, but part 1 is done. Thank you guys. Please check the next one. Sorry this video is so long. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.